became Muslim, alhamdulillah, yeah?
Yes.
MashaAllah. So walk me through your journey, because you said your name, sorry, it was Stuart.
Was Stuart.
And then you changed your name to Yusuf, right?
Yusuf, yeah.
Which obviously in Islam you don't have to change your name, but it's good, it's not bad, it's a nice thing to do, yeah? So maybe sometimes it's a sign of completely denouncing the past and then coming with a new page, you know?
Yeah.
So walk me through, because I'm interested, mashallah, you're dressed in an Islamic way, you know?
This is from Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi, mashallah, you went there?
No, I bought it off the internet.
MashaAllah, man. Looks nice on you, mashallah. May Allah bless you. So, how did you become Muslim? How was your journey, basically?
Well, I joined the army when I was 19. I just left school.
You joined the army?
The British Army in the UK, yeah. I went across to Germany. I did about 2 years training almost. By the time I did my signal training, basic training, everything. Posted in Germany. But in a few months, we're like, we're shipping off to Iraq. Don't want to get into so I don't want to get into like too many politics, because we all know about the fake this and the fake that and all the rest.
Yes.
But we got sent there for oil and whatever else. And I found the Iraqi people so friendly. I know they were like slightly different, some of them in the south and different things.
Yes.
They were so friendly as a people and very welcoming, and you know, and thankfully I didn't have to slap anybody when I was there, which was always a good thing, alhamdulillah. And I came back from Iraq.
So did you fight when you were there?
I was attached to the cavalry in the QRH, Regional Hussars, and I did Brigade HQ. I was in charge of like movement control. I was in charge of when the sneaky Peaties were doing their missions, and I had to send help out to the grid and things like that. So it's a very responsible job. You send that help to the wrong place, and
people die.
Yes.
Yeah. It seems like it's a very serious thing. Yeah. And then you were from 19, you said?
I was about 19, 20 when I was over there. Yeah.
You were 20, and you were doing that serious job with 20 years old.
Yeah.
That's surprising to me, you know, because I think that you have to give you a bit more experience to put someone in that position. Wouldn't you agree? What do you think about that? I mean, the army here should be more responsible with the person who has this type of job. I think has to be a little bit older. What do you think?
I would say so as well.
Yeah. I'm surprised that they put someone 20 years old and he's doing that type of job, you know?
I kind of had an old head on me even from like a young age. That sort of thing.
So how was your experience there? What would you say about the army?
I remember the police station getting blown up when I was there. And
police station?
The 3 police stations within 10 minutes. Vehicle IEDs, and obviously we'd help set up their map boards, set up the radios. They brought out kebabs. And one of the guys next to me says, I'm not eating them after they've been touching it. I says, I'll have yours as well. So I'm sitting there eating some nice Iraqi kebab, etc. And then obviously these.
So you enjoyed your time?
It had its rough points. I mean, I fell asleep on top of Saddam's palace in the midday sun, and obviously being quite pale, it was.
That's very dangerous, isn't it?
I was like a lobster.
It sounds very, very strange to me, because war is a little bit more brutal than what you're saying, you know?
Oh yeah, it's had its moments, riots and people, kicking off.
So when you were there, you were fighting against the people. You said you thought that they were friendly. You saw your perception of them that they were friendly people. That was your perception as someone who's going with the army.
For the most part, the ones who like militias or whatever. But you get a lot of kids asking for water and chocolates, and there's one kid pulling a big knife out of me like this. And I was out on patrol, and I'm like, and he was just like, I sell you, $5, whatever, God bless him, And,
he wanted to sell it,
He wanted to sell it, it was an American, bayoneted knife.
Okay, and then you came back from the army, you were saying? Sorry,
And I got back to Germany, and I was a bit stressed. I mean, I'd had some leave in between, so I went from 52 degrees heat in Iraq, and I went back to Newcastle. It's Christmas time, it's snowing, and I'm like, And then I got back to Germany. I was just drinking, and I was with women all the time. It was like I was trying to, I don't know, whatever it was affecting us. I was trying to, and I left the army.
That happens a lot, wouldn't you agree? People do it. They try. I think, to forget what they saw in the war, what they saw in these places by drinking or women going into materialistic. Just completely forgetting. But it never helps, isn't it? Yeah. So you're saying sorry? Yeah.
And then I went back to Newcastle area, and I had some like fraud and some other things happen to me and all the rest by some civvies and all the rest. And I ended up living homeless in Keswick in the Lake District under an army poncho with a little hexi cooker. So I'm sat there for 7 weeks cooking up full Monty breakfast and a little beans in the tins. I was like, subhanallah. And then I ended up living at Whitechapel.
Whitechapel. Oh, now this is a turning point, isn't it? You went to Whitechapel. Then what happened?
Like some of the guys I lived with, they had problems with some of the locals, but that's because they would get drunk up and then they would make like racial slurs. And I'm like, well, what do you expect? You know, you're being like disrespectful to people.
When was that? What year was that?
2005, and they used to give me £20 a week to live on in London. So I had to go to like Methodist churches to get breakfast. I'd have to go here, sandwich shops.
So that time, Whitechapel did not have as many Muslims as it does have today, isn't it?
It wasn't quite as many. No.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well, do you know kind of the average? Who was more? Who was less? There was more basically English people, or there's more foreigners at that time. Do you know?
I think there's probably more Muslims there now.
More Muslims still. Okay.
So,
okay.
As far as And then I went back in the army. I went in the infantry this time.
Well, how old were you that time?
I was 29.
29. Okay.
Something like that. And I went back in. Could be 20 years.
Yes.
And I went to the Catterick for the infantry training, and it's brutal. It was a 64-man platoon when I first joined. By the time I left, there was 16 of us, professional athletes from Nigeria and 2 professional rugby players from Fiji, and little old me, you know what I mean? But I snapped my right tibia, and they had me doing the assault course and the steeplechase the paratroopers do, tanked up with painkillers, with like a hairline fracture. So
that seems a bit difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a struggle. But,
how long did you spend in the army next time? The
second time was only about 5.5 months.
5.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, I've done my time. I'm not.
Did you do that with choice? You wanted to go back to the army another time?
Yeah. I was starting to go back in again.
What was the reason? What was your mentality for wanting to go back?
Maybe it's just because I was young. It was the one thing I'd enjoyed, so I thought I was going back to it a little bit.
Okay.
And then I came out of there, and I was in the merchant navy. So I worked on container ships. Went from Hong Kong past Taiwan to Long Beach, California. But whilst on Christmas leave from the merchant navy, no one ever lied. I've got a little medal thing, not medal, keyring thing. Yeah. I went across to the French Foreign Legion, the Legion d'Estranger. Okay. So there's Chinese, Russians, there's a lot of Algerians, whatever, from the old French colonies in Cameroon, etc.
Yes.
And that was quite an interesting experience. I passed the selection, but then somebody said to me, like some American, he was like, "Why are you here when you got your merchant navy career?"
Yes.
So I went back to the merchant navy. Because I'd been in the army, this guy from Northern Ireland had took offence, and there was a bit of an altercation, shall we say. So that was my £70,000 career that right down this morning. And then after that, I did a close protection course.
Close protection, yeah.
And surveillance.
Yeah.
I got to fire like a Remington 720 pump action.
How is that training, by the way? Because I'm interested. Because I did some security in the past before, right? So you got to do door supervisor. I know training and this and that.
Yeah.
What kind of training do you need for that? Or do you need certain qualifications, like to be in the army or something like that?
No. Even as like a civilian, you pay about $3,000, $4,000. So it's $5,000 you're doing in South Africa, somewhere fancy like that. You go and you do like car stuff, you do surveillance, how to follow somebody, where somebody would likely set up an ambush. You do like hand-to-hand stuff. We had this Sunderland guy, a Mackham as we call him, and he was just this wee little guy, and he'd been in the Philippines doing like a screamer, the sticks with the elbows and stuff as well. Yeah. So we sort of looked at him, and we're like, yeah, really? And then once he started going with some of the guys, we're like, oh, you know.
He's dangerous, isn't it? Yeah. So then you did close protection, and then what? And
then I worked. I worked at this film set of Snow White and the Huntsman. That was up in Ambleside in the Lake District. So they had all the little fantasy dwarfs. So I'm not being a thingy against people who are small here.
Yes.
Fantasy dwarfs, so leather armor and spears and all the rest,
okay.
and the Snow White stunt double, etc. Yeah. And that was good fun. I worked at Bournemouth Air Show. I saw.
You seem like you went all over the world.
I just went all over Scotland and England, and it was great. Yeah, loved it.
And then what was the starting point for you to get to know Islam or to learn about the religion? How did that start?
Started about a year ago. For whatever reason, I stopped eating pork. I must have been reading stuff about why it's bad, etc., etc.
Okay.
I grew up here for some reason, and there was like loads of stuff. People kept saying to me, "Are you Muslim?" And I was like, "No." But then,
because you said you don't eat pork, they thought you were Muslim.
Yeah, they assumed. Yeah.
Which is an interesting thing, because you see, this tradition is in the Jewish tradition. Some Christian Orthodox they do it. But the people who are actually known to keep this tradition and practice it properly are the Muslims.
Yeah.
So when you say you don't eat pork, people assume automatically you're a Muslim.
Exactly.
Yes.
Not,
So you stopped eating pork, you know what happened?
And then, like this year, just before Christmas, I was watching like yourself and Brother Hamza and Free
Came across my channel, yeah?
and your channel. And I was watching like One Islam, and I was watching about 6 to 8 hours a day. I mean, I was watching a lot of content.
Okay.
I suppose it's better than binging Netflix or something.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I was taking all this in, and I was like, wow, this book contains so many miracles and it's so many proven things, and all these people are saying the same thing, and it matches up. And I was like, well, it's obviously like the truth, you know? And,
oh, subhanAllah. So then, basically, it was for you. You came across the videos, you binge watched the videos, and you came to the conclusion that Islam is the truth based on what you heard in the videos, right? The evidences that we've been put and everything like that, right? So this was your process, right?
I'd known a little bit like previously when I went to Iraq.
Did you read the Quran that time, or?
I think I've read about a third of it. So
A third of it? Before you became Muslim?
I read about 50 or 60 pages before I came Muslim.
MashaAllah, okay.
And the English, obviously, not the Arabic. Obviously.
Yes, absolutely, yeah, the translation, obviously, yeah.
Translation.
And then, how did you take your shahada?
With Brother Hamza on YouTube.
Oh, mashallah. So did you go on his stream and then you took a shahada with him?
I went on his stream first for like about 10 minutes, and I was asking questions a little bit, and he was like, and I'd pretty much made my mind up by that point anyway.
Okay, you're already a Muslim in a way,
yeah. And he was like, well, just take it. But I had a Christmas dinner for the veterans at the place I live.
Okay.
And I was worried in case what things were there, and people would start, and I wanted to be more comfortable in it myself before. Because I went down to the archery the other day, and I had my Turkish hat on, and obviously the beard. And this guy who I'd known for like a couple of years, he says, "You look like a Muslim." He says, "Why do you look like a Muslim?" I says, "Well, that's because I am." And he says, "Oh, good answer."
I cannot even imagine how that situation is. But for you, I'm sure you get that. One day, I'll tell you a funny story. One day, one person who's here, he was from Syria, Levantine, right?
Yeah.
And he is pale. His skin is pale. He was standing with us, and two English people, they were drunk, right? They came, they said, "What are you doing with them? You're one of us." Why are you standing with them? He even started laughing, you know? And they were drunk, but people got this perception. They think that a Muslim is Arab or Muslim is Asian, or Muslim is Muslim, and you can be from any background. And you're the living example of that, right? And you made your own decision. You just watched the material, you read the Quran, you made your own choice. You wanted to become Muslim, right?
Yeah, but I think it's only like 18% of like Arabs are Muslims. Some sort of statistic.
80% are of Muslims are non-Arabs. They're not Arabs. 20% only are Arabs.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, the opposite.
Oh, sorry, so I said 18%. So 18,
no. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I thought you said 18.
Yeah.
That's right.
But I think the biggest Islamic country is probably Indonesia.
Yeah, exactly. The biggest
country,
population of Muslims are non-Arabs, right? And that shows that this religion has nothing to do with being an Arab or not being an Arab, right? And it's just reading the Quran, seeing that the Quran teaches you, saying to you that Prophet Muhammad is a messenger to everyone, right?
Yeah.
That he's a mercy to all mankind.
Yeah.
He's sent to everyone. That this book is a mercy to humanity, is a guidance to humanity, right? So reading the Quran is clear. And I don't think you're going to really find any other messenger in history is well known that claimed to be for everyone anyway.
Yeah.
Moses didn't claim that, Jesus didn't claim that, Abraham didn't claim that, right? But Prophet Muhammad did claim that. He said that he's a messenger sent to everyone, right? So
race or anything like that.
So how is your experience since you started becoming Muslim? Learning how to pray and
I've got that app which I use, and but I'm getting to the point. So you've done it so many times a day for however long.
Yes.
I know that the Kira in Arabic I can say, and when I still have to do the Tashahhud with it, but I read it this way with the Arabic as I'm doing. So at least I've learned a little bit of like script and things. But I'm trying.
And how long ago did you become Muslim?
Christmas Day.
Christmas. The last year or this year?
This year.
So it's just literally less than a month ago, right?
And I'm already planning.
You're already wearing, mashallah, Islamic clothing.
Thank you.
You're shocking me. I thought that, subhanallah, because some people are, subhanallah, like you. Some people are sincere about their actions, right? The minute they become Muslim, some sisters, the minute they become Muslim, they wear the niqab. An English sister, she becomes Muslim. 2 weeks later, she comes to us with the niqab. And we're shocked, subhanallah, she's wearing a full burqa, full niqab. Yeah. They take it more seriously, and you take it more seriously because you've seen the opposite. You've seen the other perspective, right? You've seen
getting drunk in clubs,
absolutely,
and starting fights, and antisocial behavior and everything else.
So did you manage to memorize Fatiha yet, or?
Say again?
The first chapter, did you manage to memorize Fatiha? Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen, Rahman Rahim, or not yet? إياك نعبد. Oh, mashallah, yes. Oh, mashallah, you did memorize, mashallah. Wallah, I'm happy. This is very important because it shows that, like, some people got this perception that, oh, Muslims force the religion on people and this. You came across the religion by yourself, you decided to become Muslim by yourself, right? And it is good for people to see and learn that, look, Islam is like that, you know? Islam is a religion that is for everyone. And if you're sincere, you actually do your research like you did, you'll see that the evidences are more compelling than anything else. It will have to lead you to the fact that this is from God, right? This is the truth. We should all be adopting it and accepting it. And it is very interesting when you're saying that, being in the army and this and that. Because being in the army today, automatically, and I got a lot of people from the army, and surprisingly, they don't want to do what they tell them to do in the army. And when they come, they're really interested in Islam. I get a lot of people from the army like that, you know? So it's very interesting, you know? And I appreciate you telling us your story and everything like that, you know?
Okay. Even when you look at like the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, I think he went on something called the Majal, where he went through, like, and he heard the angels in space, etc.
Yes.
And like NASA sent a probe up, and you actually hear, because he used to think, oh, it's all dead silent in the darkness of space, and it's not, you know?
Yeah, actually, they can hear sounds of planets and sounds of certain stars, and this. There is new technology now where you can actually hear planets, hear the sound of planets and things like that, you know? So it's fascinating, and this is the point, you know, we're your brothers, I'm sure you already know that, you know, anything you need, we're here, you know how to contact us, right? You need anything from us, we're welcome, mashallah, and wallahi, I'm happy, and inshallah we'll see you again, you know? I don't want to take too much of your time though, you know? Barakallah feek, I'll see you inshallah, yeah? Jazakallah khair, barakallah feek, jazakallah khair for telling me your story, yeah?
That means goodness be with you, yeah?
Yes, barakallah.
I just learned that from Adil Pak the other day and asked, because I'm off to do my Umrah.
Mashallah.
After Ramadan. I didn't want to overload myself, so I thought I'll do it after.
You're doing your Umrah, mashallah. Like, when you go there, you come back, let me know your experience, because when you see Mecca, when you see the Kaaba, when you see the feeling you'll get there, trust me, I'm telling you, it's something that I miss so much, you know.
Thank you so much, bro.
May Allah bless you, brother. Jazakallah khair.
عشيرتي جميعكم حتى ابنتي لا أغني عنكم فاعبدوا إلهكم ووحدوا.
إذا أعجبك الفيديو لا تنسى الإعجاب والتعليق، ولكي يصلك كل جديد اشترك الآن.